पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so we will start from second chapter, verse number 64. Yeah, before that, sorry that yesterday we couldn't have the class. There was a special speaker who had come all the way from India. So he was supposed to give a class at some place, and then we decided to attend that one. Vrindavan Prabhu, his name is, and he was supposed to share the pastimes of. So we first thought we'll skip it, but after Tuesday's session, there was session on Tuesday also. So then we decided, okay, we will have to. So things we had to move it. Okay, so in verse number 62 and 63, Krishna is explaining that what happens if we have attachment to a sense object, and from that attachment what happens is it leads to a complete fall down, right? Oh, sorry, we can move that to that verse 62. Right, he says, while contemplating on the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust krodh, anger arises. And then he says it's complete flow chart. We have flow charts, right? So from where flow charts came? Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so from anger delusion arises, and from delusion bewilderment of buddhi, right? Basically instead of buddhiman we become buddhuman, right? Buddhu, bewilderment of memory, and from that there is loss of, oh you can't see, no, loss of intelligence, right? And then that leads to fall down, right? So it all starts with contemplation. See, I was also she was contemplating. My mother, right? So now from 64 to 72, which is the last section, today we'll complete the chapter 2. Here Krishna will explain that what happens to the person who is sthita pragya, who is detachment doesn't matter, and how that flowchart was for a person who is contemplating, who is attached. What happens to a person who is completely sthita, who is non-attached, not detached, like that, right? So we'll discuss from there now. You can repeat after me. Okay, 64. Raga Dvesha, you want the book or you want to see from here? You can see. Okay, I'll come here. Raga Dvesha Vimuktestu Atma Vishayan Indriyesharan Atma Vashyar Videyatma Prasadam Adhigachati. What word stuck to you the most? Prasadam. Correct. We will discuss that. Prasadam. So this is the first time Krishna has introduced the word prasadam. We'll see what does prasadam means. Yeah, we'll discuss that. So someone can read the translation and then someone can read the purport as well. Anyone can volunteer.
from all attachment and aversion, and able to control his senses through regulating principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord.
You want to read? Purport, who wants to read?
It is already explained that one may externally control the senses by artificial process, but unless the senses are engaged in transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance of a fall. Although the person in full Krishna conscious may apparently be on a sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcended to all attachment and attachment. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable, and if Krishna does not, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Therefore, to act or to not act is within his control, because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform.
Okay, we'll discuss. So, in the translation, let's see how much English we know. Okay, there's two sets of words which are contradicting to each other. There are two sets of words which are contradicting to each other, and we'll be discussing those two sets of words. Obviously, prasadam, we will not miss it, and that is important. So, what are the two sets of words which are contradicting to each other? What do you think? Yeah, that is easy one. Correct. Yeah, control and freedom. I was about to say regulation and freedom, but okay, 0.5 marks. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. We'll discuss this: regulation and freedom, or control and freedom, right? And obviously, mercy of the Lord. Okay, so first we'll start with attachment and aversion. The reason Krishna here is saying to Arjuna raga dvesha. Why? Because first, before the battlefield was war was about to start, Arjuna was completely sure that he has now no attachment to this Kauravas, to Dhritarashtra. He wanted to fight. The amount of pain that they had incurred on the Pandavas, Draupadi, they had to go through a lot. So he was completely sure, Ladna, I want to fight. But as soon as he saw that army, right, Kauravas, he came in the middle of the battlefield. He says, I want to please bring the chariot in the middle of the battlefield, right? So as soon as he brings, then that attachment starts developing, right? And that is the reason he starts speaking things that, oh, these are my relatives, what will happen, right? He also says that I'd rather be happy by not fighting. That also Krishna will answer in this section a little bit, right? So you see that flipping nature is happening now. He, at one level, he wanted to fight, right? He didn't care. Whatever happens, I want to fight now. And suddenly, he brings his attachment, right? It flips. And we see that in our life also, right? Like husband, spouse, husband or wife. Wife is suddenly happy, everything is going on. Suddenly, she flips. Or husband, everything is going fine. Suddenly, and the wife is thinking, what happened to this guy? Everything was going good, and suddenly this guy is getting so angry. So, in today's world, we called it mood swings. Mood swings. So, the mood swings also used to happen previously. It's not like recent. But all this happens because of the not having complete sense control. Sita pragya, that is not there. And in scriptures also, there are a lot of examples where someone was not Sita pragya and that mood swings. Krishna says in Bhagavad, Chanchala hi mana Krishna. That mind is chanchal, right? Chanchal. Like there is a song, right? We said last time, Mera man kyun tumhe chahe, like, right? My mind is saying that I love you, but I don't know why, right? So basically, why that mood swings happen? So obviously that is because of the mind, nature of the mind, right? And we see that is one of the quality of a person who is not a Sthita Pragya, who is not completely conscious of Krishna. And in scriptures, we see a lot of examples. Kamsa. So there's a famous example where Kamsa, just his sister was about to get married, Devaki. And he was so happy, my sister is getting married, right? So he said, I will take the chariot to Mathura, to basically Vasudev's palace. I will take the chariot. So he was very happy. He was attached to his sister, right? And he was taking the chariot to Vasudev's palace. But suddenly there was Akashwani, right? Something from sky, some sound came and said that the eighth son of her child will be the cause of death. And suddenly he flipped, mood swing. He said, no, 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 no. I will kill you immediately, both of you. Right? We say in Hindi, na bajega baas, na bajegi bansuri, right? So, na rahega baas. Basically, if they both are not there, then anyways the eighth child will not be able to come. So he flipped immediately. And then there is a story in Srimad Bhagavatam how Vasudev, through his skills, he tries to say to Kamsa that don't worry, we will have trust. If you kill your sister, lot of sin will incur to you. So don't worry, I will give you all the children. So you don't have to worry. So he says, okay. Then he takes them and puts in the jail. Right? In the jail, then what happens is when the first child comes, right? When the first child comes, then Vasudev, because he was a man of honor, I mean, basically there's a lot of value of what you speak. So he said, I had spoken that all the children I'll give. This is the first child. As soon as Kamsa saw that, he said, Are rulayega kya? I mean, he became so emotional seeing Vasudev's gesture, right? He could have hid it somewhere, done something, but he gave to Kamsa, and Kamsa felt so attached suddenly to the child, small child, right? We get so attached sometimes. So he said, no, take away. I don't want to kill him, right? So again flipped. Now one level he was about to kill his sister. Now he's saying, no, it's okay. But Narad Muni wanted the appearance of Krishna as soon as possible. For Krishna to appear faster, Kamsa's sin should also increase faster. So Narada, what he did is he brought a lotus, Kamal. Lotus he brought in front of Kamsa and said that, tell me, which is the first petal and which is the eighth petal? So Kamsa got confused, right? So indirectly he understood that how can you say which is the first child, which is the eighth child, right? How can you say previous birth, because the cycle is continuously going on. So how can you say which child it is? So Kamsa immediately again flipped. He said, no, I'll kill this guy also. I'll kill immediately, right? So we see that this is the nature of a person who is not Sthita Pragya, who is basically chanchal. Mind is chanchal. Attachment, detachment keeps on coming and going, right? And these kind of people, are always disturbed, right? Like so many times when we see, one of my friend only, due to some layoffs, he suddenly, after one of the Gita in nutshell, he said, you're right, Abhishek, what is meant in this world? Everything is so temporary. He said, yeah. And obviously I had this experience. Whenever someone goes through that, then they become philosophical. But then as soon as he got his job, now no more scene, right? So attachment, detachment, that is the nature. In Sanskrit, it is called Shamshan Vairagya. I think I've discussed this before. Shamshan Vairagya. When someone dies, you take them to the crematorium, and while you're taking them to crematorium, you think, what is there in this life, right? It is cycle. Someone is continuously dying, something is happening. And then when you do everything and you come back home, you're back to square one. So that flipping nature is the reason why we are disturbed in this life, right? We're disturbed in this life. What is another example? This is from Mahabharata. What is the other example? Kekai, right? Kekai was ready to do anything for Lord Ramachandra. So much she was attached. But then some statements from mantra, and then she was, I don't want only now. Ramachandra has to leave this palace immediately, right? So again we see that flipping nature, and that is what an undisturbed mind has. Chanchalahi mana Krishna. That's what Krishna is saying, that if your mind is not under your control, then you will keep on flipping, the satisfaction, dissatisfaction. And because of this, and we have to see how we will see that in the future verses where Krishna will explain some of the examples from Srimad Bhagavatam, where people are completely Sthita Pragya, completely neither attached nor detached. We saw in the example of Amrish Maharaj, when the demon came to kill him, he was not disturbed. He had so much faith in Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj, right? Narsimha Chaturdashi is going to come soon. We see that Prahlad Maharaj, that one, Narsimha Dev. Prahlad Maharaj, when he came, Lord Hiranyakashipu asked him, "Where is Krishna?" So he was completely. First he says that who is the supreme personality of Godhead. In front of Hiranyakashipu used to think that he is the supreme. In front of him, he was completely neither attached nor detached. He said Krishna is supreme, and then Hiranyakashipu got really angry, and then in that anger, he did a lot of things to Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was not disturbed, or not disturbed. Obviously, that is the highest form of. It's like a samadhi only in one sense, right? But we see that in the examples. I was giving an example last week of my spiritual master, right? When his book got bestseller book, he was completely not attached. He said, "Okay, today my book is bestseller. Next time, someone else's book will be bestseller." So we see that the nature of devotee, they are not disturbed, right? And then the words that are used is regulation, regulatory principles of freedom. Now, how is this possible? At one level, he is saying this can be achieved through regulation of freedom. Regulation means control, and freedom means that one has to control certain things but gets freed, right? How to understand this paradox? How to understand paradox, right? How many of you have flied some kite during Sankranti? We do this, right? So if we don't control the kite and we free it, leave it, then what will happen? It will go up, but then it will go into some antenna. It will get stuck there, correct? So that freedom, if we give complete freedom, it will actually lead to a disaster. So we regulate it by again pulling the kite back a little bit, right? That is regulation. So that regulation we are doing to give the kite the freedom to fly, right? But this is, you might say, this is non-living thing. How to understand at our level? What about traffic signals, right? Imagine there are no traffic signals. There is no regulation. However you want to drive. Whoa, like a policeman, right? Imagine everybody became like a policeman and they are driving without seeing left and right? But that freedom we have to drive peacefully, that freedom we get because of the regulation that is there, right? The regulation that is there. So that's why Krishna is saying at a very basic level, how we can attain that satisfaction, not satisfaction, is by sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means devotion through regulation. So, and the four regular principles that in Krishna consciousness we practice, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Parikshit Maharaj, he was about to, there was a Shudra who came, basically a person who was very low born kind of person, and he was hitting a cow, and then suddenly Parikshit Maharaj came and he said that, "What are you doing? Why are you hitting this cow?" And then he understood that this guy is a reckless fellow, and he was about to kill that. And Srimad Bhagavatam explains that that person who had come, he was actually personified Kali. Kali came in his form. So then Parikshit Maharaj said that, "I'm going to kill you." And then he said that, "You are a king and you are a very ideal king. So please give me shelter." And king's nature, if someone is asking for shelter, then one has to give. That is the nature of the king. One has to protect. Nature means, Kshatriya means, Kshata means one who protects. That is why they fight, to protect. Obviously some Kshatriyas takes wrong way of protection, like Duryodhan. But nature of the Kshatriyas is to protect. So he says, "Okay, I'll protect you, but this is not the region for you, because you are behaving like a reckless fellow." So he says, "Give me some place where I can reside. Give me some place." And Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that I'll give you 4 places where you can reside, and those 4 places are where there is meat eating happening, because he knew nobody anyways will be doing meat eating, because meat eating leads to, basically it means that one is merciful. Basically one who doesn't eat meat is merciful. That is the nature sort of. Srimad Bhagavatam explains. So he says that anyways most of the people are merciful, so they won't be eating. So he says, "You reside in a place where there is meat eating." He said, "No, give me 4 places." So he says, "Okay, meat eating, there's illicit sex, you stay there." Illicit sex means sex outside of marriage. Third is where there is lot of alcohol consumption, any kind of alcohol consumption, intoxication, you stay there. And fourth is gambling, where there is gambling. Gambling means there is no truthfulness. There is no truthfulness, right? So these 4 places you stay, and then Parikshit Maharaj knew that most of the places this doesn't exist. So where will I stay? I need some place, right? Front yard, backyard, some place, place has to be there. So then he says, okay, you be in such a place where there is lot of hoarding of money, because where there is lot of hoarding of money, there will be dissatisfaction. We discussed last time the 99 club. You remember 99 club, right? We reach certain place, certain goal we reach of the money, and then immediately we think something more, something more, something more, right? And then that dissatisfaction leads to senses are uncontrolled. 99 club we discussed, right? So that's what Krishna is saying here, that 2 things, if we are Siddha Pragya, attachment and detachment, both are there, basically we are not affected, and regulatory principles. What we can start with is these 4 things, then we will automatically get the freedom. Devotion will come. So we get the freedom from regulation, that leads to devotion, and then what we get is the mercy of the Lord. So prasadam, when we say prasad, right, what it really means is mercy. Mercy means we get the strength to practice devotional service. That's why if you see, yesterday only Manjari was talking to one person. She was basically explaining her, she was supposed to cook some item for another program. Friday there is another program that happens, and she was explaining her how to do. And when she said that, you should cook food in a pure way and should offer it, and then you should bring it to the program. So she said, we do this anyways, but we do this only on special occasions. And then Manjari was saying, no, do this every day, every time, right? Because that is mercy of the Lord. How I came to Krishna, if you see, ISKCON, one of the words of ISKCON, one of the things that ISKCON is known as is known as kitchen religion. When Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, when he started his preaching, started his Krishna consciousness, spreading Krishna consciousness in New York. In New York he started, and there were all hippies, right? Drugs, sex, rock and roll. 3 things: drugs, sex, and rock and roll. So they were near they were on 26nd Avenue. They were there, and somehow they came, and Srila Prabhupada. So kirtan, they used to all like kirtan. Like maybe there also someone was, Nityananda Rai Prabhu was there, maybe some similar like him. So they were enjoying that kirtan. Kirtan was really good. But when classes used to start, when Srila Prabhupada used to start speaking, what he saw is people used to slowly get away. Now we have closed doors, but there people used to slowly get out, and nearby there was a donut shop. They used to go out, eat some donuts, and come back. And Srila Prabhupada saw this is happening again and again. People are eating little bit. They are going out, eating donuts, and coming back. So then what he did is, in the middle of the class, he put a stand, and on top of it he put something which he called it as ISKCON bullets. You know what is ISKCON bullets? No, someone should answer. Gulab jamun. You know gulab jamun? Yeah, you know gulab jamun? Today you will see some version of gulab jamun. So it's like a ISKCON bullet. So, and believe it or not, Srila Prabhupada made a lot of devotees just through that ISKCON bullet. So anyways, and just so people stopped going there, because when you taste gulab jamun, that donut, ISKCON gulab jamun is gulab jamun. So they stayed, and just by eating that gulab jamun in the middle of the class also, they used to eat that gulab jamun. They used to, and then just by slowly hearing, then they became, from hippies they became happies. So everything, that's that. Like many of us, I don't know. Once Nityananda, he was saying during his hostel, how he came to Krishna consciousness was from hostel in India. NIT Surathkal, Warangal. I always get confused. Surathkal. So he was sharing once, during those times they used to have in each room there are 3-4 boys like that, and so some of the devotees used to come in every room, and they used to ask them whether you chanted or not one round, and if they chant, then they used to give some sweets. No, what is that called?
The white small coconut.
coconut burfi, something like that. And he's told me that that is impossible to match that kind of taste. Obviously, when you offer it to Krishna and then you give the taste enhances, obviously. And just they used to chant, and either he or Shashikar, someone told, they used to chant that one round of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra just to have that one piece of burfi. Obviously, they were away from mother also. So, and mess ka khana in India, hostels, food is known as mess. So mess ka khana is anyways very messy, right? So they don't have option. But anyways, they used to get that sweet, and just eating that, one became Krishna conscious, right? So that we'll see that in the next verse also. So prasadam has a lot of potency. So anything we do, I mean, we should try to offer it to Krishna, and then we should eat. Now we'll discuss that more in next verse. But prasadam, it actually means mercy, mercy of the Lord, mercy of the Lord. Yes, we'll discuss that more. That I'll speak. Oh, sorry, I was doing next as if it is a slide. Okay. So we'll go to the next verse. So this is the verse which is, we don't chant this verse during our prasadam prayers, but when you go to ISV, only in ISV this happens, not nowhere in ISKCON. Vaisheshika Prabhu does this. So whenever we do prasadam prayers, this verse is chanted. So right now also we are going through flowchart. Flowchart is two things. When there is no attachment, no detachment, and regulation of freedom is there, then that leads to mercy. And from here, from mercy, what happens, we will see in this verse. Okay. Now flowchart is going on. Okay. So verse number 65. You can repeat after me. Prasade sarva dukkha nam hanirashyopajayate prasanna chetasho ashu chetasho yashu buddhi paryavatishtate. So prasade and buddhi, right? Some connection you would understand now, right? And that is ashu, not ashik. Ashu, right? Okay, someone can read the translation. It doesn't have purport. Someone can read the translation.
For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established.
Right. So what happens is, once we get mercy of the Lord, right? One, you can say satisfied in Krishna consciousness, mercy of the Lord. Then the threefold miseries, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, and Adhyatmik, that doesn't come, and that is not there. Then intelligence is soon established. This is the flow chart. So you have question? Go ahead.
I can wait.
Okay. So go ahead. I will be. Otherwise, I will be contemplating on the question.
So, you were saying that for that person, the miseries of material existence cease to exist. But many times, I mean, at least most of us will misunderstand this to be that no problem will come into my life, and
Yeah.
I am going to be like sailing through.
Yes.
And when that doesn't
Sailing.
happen,
Good word. Sailing will also come. You are using good words.
and when that happens, then the faith breaks because our faith is so nascent.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what we are going to discuss. So good question. We are going to discuss that only. So here, Krishna is saying a word called very soon, ashu, soon. So he is saying that if you get the mercy of the Lord, which is prasadam, then very soon your intelligence will be well established. But then we see in our life that we are eating every day the mercy of the Lord, right? But then why is the intelligence not getting? What is the definition of soon? Is it lifetime of a Brahma? What is that soon, right? So we'll discuss that. So one thing, when I was discussing on prasadam, I mean, I came to Krishna consciousness because of prasadam. I'll tell you one story. I read this book. My inclination towards spiritual obviously increased, but it was not so much also. But it was there, little bit was there. But my mother was again. So in the evening, Wednesday evening, we used to have a class near our home in Mumbai. So she used to call me, and I used to reach exactly during prasadam time. Prasadam time I used to eat, and they used to make khichdi. Here you don't eat khichdi so much, but in India, ISKCON khichdi and ISKCON halwa. I mean, it is a different level only. So and khichdi not like simple rice and this. I mean, it's transcendental khichdi. So they used to always make these two items only, khichdi and halwa, and I used to just go there to eat khichdi and halwa. So the person who was the in charge, he used to always ask me, sometimes come early also, right? Sometimes, and how we also, and that time I used to think, why is this guy, why is he calling me for the class? It's me. What will he get, right? Right now I understand that, because I also do the same thing now. Please come for the class. Right? And that I used to think that what will that guy get, by calling, and by nothing will get, nothing he will get. But then just by eating, and then I used to get lot of, my inclination was very strong for something called as onion and garlic was my favorite sort of that time. And if I'm going to a restaurant and garlic naan is not there, then restaurant only we should not go. That was my understanding. But then sort of because of my mother, and then later on my wife, continuously they used to feed me paneer, because I used to love paneer. And obviously they were offering it to Krishna. And just by that offering to Krishna, that yagya they were doing, yagya means sacrifice means offering. Just by that, slowly the heart transformed. So, and then you feel that, no, I want to practice this. This is something. Why that? Slowly the mercy is coming. That mercy is coming, right? So prasadam has lot of potency. If you ask, Vrindavan Prabhu, when he was there on Tuesday, he was giving a class, and he said exactly the same thing. He said, he has been there in Krishna consciousness for more than 40 years. 1971. We're talking about 50 years now almost. And he said, till now, the reason I'm in Krishna consciousness, it's because of prasadam. Obviously, it was his humility, but the point is, it has lot of potency. Prasadam has lot of potency. Our heart slowly changes. Srila Prabhupada also, the only thing he used to do is, also after the class, Srila Prabhupada came with 40 rupees. Sometimes he didn't even have any money. Still after the class, he used to give one apple. If one apple was also not there, he used to cut the apple in number of parts, there are participants, and he used to give that piece of thing to everyone. Vaishika, how many of you know Vaishika Prabhu? You know Vaishika Prabhu? You all know, right? Vaishika Prabhu. You know how, this is what I heard. You know how, so before ISV, programs used to happen at Vaishika Prabhu's house in Burlingame. So all the devotees, when I say all the devotees means 5, 6, maybe max, used to come to his place. You know what used to be the prasadam? Can you guess? Popcorn. Popcorn. And still devotees used to come. Popcorn and reading Bhagavad Gita. Simple. No complications. And still so many people became devotees just for eating that popcorn and apple during Srila Prabhupada times. Right? 108 temples got made just by feeding that apple one at a time. Obviously, ISKCON bullets was very famous. We see the potency of prasadam. So what we can do at our level is, whatever we cook, we should try to offer it to Krishna. Whatever we cook. And through that, we will develop the nature of remembering Krishna before having anything. In India, you see the Brahmanas, they go into the water, they take the water of Ganga, they pray and they put it back. What are they doing? They're giving it back. What it means, right? That is by that they are trying to show that whatever I'm offering is actually coming from you only. When we offer Aarti, what we offer agarbatti, right? Incense sticks. We offer diya, right? Lamp. Then we offer handkerchief, right? To sort of to wipe. Then we offer water. We offer flower, right? Then we offer fan, chamar. What all those things are representing? The 5 Panchabhut, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether. Why are we offering that? Indirectly to tell Krishna that everything is coming from you, I'm just offering it back. Everything is coming from Krishna, but I'm just offering it back. Right? So when we make that prasadam and we offer it to Krishna every day, basically indirectly we are saying that we are remembering Krishna before we want to eat. It might be at the starting level, we might be just cooking what we want to eat. I like dash, you can think in your mind. We might be cooking that only. It's okay. Slowly our heart will change that, okay, what Krishna likes. We see so many devotees, when some special festival comes, they'll, how much ever effort it is, they'll cook something what Krishna likes. When Jagannath Yatra comes, they'll make khaja. So much effort is there to make khaja. So much effort is there, but they will make it. Why? Because Jagannath likes, right? So you see that devotees, slowly the heart transforms. But it all starts with mercy of the Lord through that that offering, prasadam. So we can see what we can do. And simple thing, there is not complicated. Whatever we eat, we offer it first to Krishna and we just chant. At our level, we can just chant 3 times Hare Krishna, Krishna. We offer it. 5 times we wait, right? 5 minutes we can wait. Then we can go and take it and then we can honor it. In separate plate, we can honor it. We can just have a separate plate just for Krishna. So whenever we are making an offering, we can make in that plate. Simple thing. And that simple thing also we do, Krishna notices. Acharyas notices. So, and then just through that, our spiritual advancement happens. Just through that. Right? There are 2 important things in our life. First is the day we were born, and second, when we understand why we were born. Right? The purpose of life is to understand why we were born. What is the goal of life? It is very rare to take human form of life. Even rarer is to come in association of devotees. Even rarer is to stay in association of devotees. So it is a very rare opportunity that we get. So when we get that opportunity, so we should take it. I know so many of us also, came in Krishna consciousness because of amazing prasadam. Amazing prasadam. That is the nature. It is the nature. So prasade, and then what happens is one becomes peaceful, and from that peacefulness one gets intelligence. One gets intelligence. Yeah, sorry, I did not answer your question only. To the question of then why is that very soon is mentioned, right? That depends on the conviction that we have on the mercy of the Lord, on that prasadam. How much conviction we have, it will act anyways, but also it depends on how much conviction we have. How much conviction. There are 4 things that will help us to overcome our lower modes. There are 4 things. One is the conviction. How much conviction we have that this process of Krishna consciousness works. If we have that complete conviction, otherwise we will keep on. It's like we see so many things. Some things happen. During Gita in nutshell we discuss. Some small thing happens in our world, in our life, and we think, oh. So one thing, I forgot. One thing that Krishna consciousness brings is not like you will not have problems in your life. Problems will be there as a part of karma that we have. Obviously, Krishna consciousness helps us to eradicate that karma, but to the level of conviction that we have, obviously. But at the same time, what it really gives us, the best thing is, it helps us to deal with that problems. Parikshit Maharaj, when after that incident, he goes to the forest and he does something which he was not supposed to do. He puts a dead snake on sage Samik Rishi. And then when he leaves the palace, that hut, he realized that why did I put that? Just because I was a little hungry. Sometimes we say, right? We become too hungry and then we do something weird thing, right? So he also did the weird thing and he just put. I remember I was really angry when when I was a child. I was getting hungry and I was not getting my food. My mother was still making the offering, and then I did some nonsense and then got punishment. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. But the point is, sometimes we do some nonsense thing, right? And then Parikshit Maharaj also did some weird thing he did. Obviously, it was in one sense it was a plan of the Lord, because Srimad Bhagavatam was supposed to appear up because of that act. Anyways, but then when he had complete conviction on Krishna, that whatever happens, it's okay, it's Krishna's plan. And then he got cursed that you will die you will die in 7 days. But he has so much conviction. He has so much conviction that okay, no problem. Now what I'm supposed to do is I have to now hear about Srimad Bhagavatam. So one should have conviction that this process will work. And he had complete conviction. Now I have to sit and just hear. Just hear. He didn't say that, oh, Krishna, you were the one who protected me. And now you are the one because of you. Why didn't you protect me now? Asakasa, how can you do this? How can you do this to me? He didn't say. He had complete conviction on Krishna that okay, now whatever has happened, now my job is to hear about Krishna. What I am supposed to do before I die. Right? So that flickering nature is not there. Sthita pragya. Whatever happens, he was completely convinced that this process works. It's not like, what do we call it? Shop. There is a word. We go shop to shop, we just see window shopping. It's not like window shopping. We go one process to other, we just keep trying. Right? We take a process, we stick to it. And Krishna consciousness, various scriptures explain that Krishna consciousness path is the highest path. We'll see that when 8th, 9th chapter will come, we'll discuss more in detail. The highest path of spirituality. So first is, we should have complete conviction that this process works. Second thing is, we should try to avoid those things which brings us down. that are 4 agreed principles. So we should have that safety net, right? Safety. Third thing that we should remember is param drishta nivartate. Even if we have that safety net, but we should have something higher to engage our senses. Here Krishna is saying, right, in the 64th verse, he is saying that you should engage your senses. So that is taste, developing the taste. And fourth thing, which is the most important thing, and obviously taste is the most important thing, but taste will also continue when you have association of devotees. You should have that openness to discuss with someone. You should have some mentor with whom you can open your heart and you can discuss. If you don't have that, then slowly it will fickle around. You will think, okay. But you should have some mentor. See, in this also, right, we have this in companies, we have mentorship program. Someone has to volunteer for that mentorship program and you give mentorship. And then someone goes and asks mentor, how am I doing, how to increase my career, this, that. Similarly, we should have mentors in spiritual life also, right? So, conviction, safety net, taste, and openness. You have to pay a cost. Nothing comes for free. For overcoming the lower modes, the cost is conviction, openness, safety net, and taste. Right? That is the cost you pay to reduce your lower modes of nature. Right? That is the question to you. Answer to your question where you mentioned that why that flicker minded is there, because we don't have conviction. And very soon it means basically how much conviction we have on that process, on that prasadam, and that is the speed at which we will our intelligence will be fixed up, right? But obviously at the starting level it not be there. That's why the sadhana bhakti is there. There are 2 levels of bhakti. There are many levels, but 2 major levels: sadhana bhakti and raganuga. Raganuga means there is no rules and regulations. Like gopis, no rules and regulations. Whatever, they are completely surrendered. But then at our level, we start with sadhana bhakti, regulation. Right? Did that answer your long answer to your short question? Right? Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Okay, what is the time? 43. Okay, we'll go fast. Okay, so now we discuss about person who is completely fixed up. Now again Krishna is speaking about people who are not completely fixed up. What happens to those people? You can repeat after me. Nasti buddhirav yuktasya na cha yuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayatah shantir cha bhavayatah shantir ashantasya kuta sukham. While I am chanting, you can understand where I am putting a, where I am putting like na and cha. When there is above a, there is a line, it is a. When there is no line, there is a. Okay, some of the things you will understand when there's above s, if there is a dash, it is sh, shantir. Okay, and if below t there is dot, there is ta. Otherwise, it's ta. Okay, so anyways, these are technicalities, doesn't matter. But slowly, then you will be able to sing Sanskrit verses like a pro. Okay, someone can read the translation.
One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
Yeah, so we'll go to this verse and we'll skip it. Guru, you can just read the 29th. I'll tell you which. No, let's go to the verse. I think that is better. BG 5:29. This is a peace formula. It's called peace formula. Why there is no peace formula in this world? You think there is complete peace in this world? No. Srila Prabhupada actually mentions in an article, there is no peace in this world because there is no peace. They don't know what is the peace formula. And then he quotes this verse. Actually, let's read the verse also. You can read it after me. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam Yatva mam shantim richati. It is 5:29. 5th chapter, last verse. Okay. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam. Suridam means, Surat, not Surat. Surat. It means friend. Surat. Sarva bhutanam. Sarva bhutanam means everyone, right? So friend of everyone. Suridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. Shanti means Shanti, peace, right? So there is, you already got, there is something mentioned here. Okay. Translation. You are able to still see, no? A person in full consciousness of me, Krishna is saying this, peace formula, knowing me to the ultimate beneficiary, Bhoktaram, who is the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, right? Prasadam. So that food that we are eating, sacrifice, he is the beneficiary of everything. That's why we offer it. The Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, right? When you offer it to Krishna, then everyone becomes satisfied. Now you will say, oh, how can I? Obviously, here Krishna is saying, we will see one more verse. What is that verse? You offer water to the tree. I forgot the. Sometimes Google search is helpful. Yeah. Yatha tarun mula nishe chenena. Mula means roots. Mula means roots. So we'll see this. As pouring water, we are going from one verse to another, I know, but this is an interesting verse. As pouring water on the root of the tree energizes the trunk. Do you water everywhere, one leaf? Right? No, you just water on the root. Branches, twigs and everything else. And as supplying food to the stomach, do you feed the mouth? I mean, you feed through the mouth, but the main thing is stomach. Right? You don't feed the hands, you don't feed the legs, right? Only the stomach. Everything else get energized. Same thing. Supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses, limbs of the body. Simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies demigods. Right? There are so many demigods, so many devatas are there. There is no time. 3 crores. Just calculate how much time it will take. Right? So Krishna is saying, just worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are the parts of the Supreme Lord. Who are the parts of the Supreme Lord. So one understands that he is the Supreme Lord of all the planets and devatas and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material desires. And Srila Prabhupada said, in one of the many sessions he said, that the reason why there is no peace in this world, because they think that they are the controller and not Krishna. They are the controller, right? Why there is so much fight between the two countries, that I want this land, I want this land. They don't even know that after they die, the land will be of no one's. Actually, Mother Earth say this in Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, they say that how foolish people are, that they are fighting over land, but they don't know that after some time, the land will not be theirs. It will again be coming to me. I mean, they don't own it. You don't own it. You'll be owning only for some duration of time, but it won't be for eternity. Right? Mother Earth also says in Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So because they think that they are the controller, and that is why there is fight in this world. There is fight in this world. Okay, so this is the peace formula. We'll skip the translation because of lack of time. We'll go to the next verse, which is 67. Okay. Oh, we are again to Indriyanam. Okay, you will repeat after me. Indriyanam hi charatam.
Indriyanam hi charatam.
Yanmano nu vidhiyate. Yanmano nu vidhiyate. Tadasya harati pragyam.
Tadasya harati pragyam.
Vayurnavam ivambasi.
Vayurnavam ivambasi.
So can you find out why I said your word will come sailing? Last line. Nav. Nav means boat. Boat. One of my friend, he is Gujarati, so he says boat. So his daughter says, it's not boat, it's boat, papa. Boat. Anyways, so translation. Someone can read the translation.
As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence.
Right? Senses are so strong. Right? We saw that video. You were there? No, you were not there. Anyways, there was last week we saw that video where they were nicely playing in the water. Water, nice, right? But suddenly that entire water swept away them. It was like a waterfall and then everything. There is one video. We discussed about that Kuranga, Matanga, Pratanga, Bringa, Meena, right? 5 senses we discussed last time, right? And then yesterday only I saw this video. I want to show you regarding senses. Slideshow. He discusses exactly the same thing. In the comments, I also mentioned that this is the verse that I was remembering when I saw this video.
Going from need to greed makes one bleed.
Everyone was able to hear? The topic is from greed, need of greed makes one's bleed, right? He's Radheshyam. He's Radheshyam. Radheshyam Das.
Need to breathe makes one bleed. What does that mean? Look at a fish. It gets abundant food in the ocean by God's arrangement. But he wants to eat that meat piece which is hanging in the fisherman's hook. That is
Able to
greed.
hear?
He goes to capture it. Next moment he loses his life. I heard of an elephant in Belgaum near Pune. It used to get abundant grass in the forest, each tons of grass. Sometimes the bullock cart would carry sugar canes, and one or two pieces it will snatch from that and eat also. One day the elephant became so greedy, he felt, I'll go to the sugarcane farm and eat all the sugarcane there. He became greedy. So he went round and round because they had put the barbed wires on all the four sides. He couldn't get it. At last he decided to sit between two poles, two stone poles, isn't it? And he tried to bend the barbed wire by bending his body like this several times. At last he could bend the two poles down and his backside was bleeding. Then he got up and tried to cross over the barbed wires and he tore his legs here and there. So he was bleeding. And he screamed loudly. Hearing that sound, many farmers came with sticks. All he could pick up was only 2 or 3 sugar canes and he had to flee for his life. Here is an example of going from need to greed makes one bleed. You see, in our lives also, you will see what you deserve comes very effortlessly. Or I could say that with little effort. A bird has to get up in the morning, fly a kilometer distance, get its fruits and come. God has provided abundant fruits. In the same manner, go to job 8 hours, 10 hours a day. Whatever money you get, that's what you deserve. Have time for your family. Have time for God. Have time for your profession. Don't get overworked. Don't be workaholic. Don't forget God. Don't forget the family. Otherwise, you will have money in your pocket, but there is no happiness. That is the situation of the modern people today. So when you go from need to greed, we bleed. That's what it means.
Right? It is famous saying that planet Earth provides for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. Right? Even for one person's greed also it cannot provide. That's the nature. Right? Okay, so we'll skip the purport. We have less time now. Now we'll just go through the verses. There are some sections I want to discuss. That's why we'll just go now a little faster. So where are we? 68. Yeah. Someone can read the translation directly. Who wants to read? Yeah.
Therefore, mighty aunt, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence.
Right. You can read the last paragraph. It is important. Last paragraph. One who has, there's one paragraph, but one who has understood this. Maybe I can only read. It's okay. It's okay. I'll read. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness is one really established in intelligence, and that one should practice this art under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. Right. We should look for a guru who can actually teach us. He's called as sadhaka. We discuss as sadhana bhakti. So one who is doing the sadhana bhakti is known as sadhaka, or a suitable candidate for liberation. So we'll go to the next verse. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. Now here is mentioned two kinds of people. Two kinds of people are mentioned. Who wants to read?
What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective state.
Right, it is true, right? 11, 12, you will see people walking on the road or in bar, they will be dancing, right? As if just enjoying. And you will see that time a self-realized soul will be sleeping, will be taking rest. Right, so for them, he is night, it's night, and for a materialistic person, it is so two kinds of people, and for them, it is day. Now they are enjoying, and 4 o'clock you will see a spiritualist getting up, chanting his rounds, doing something spirituality, and that time you will see people coming out and going to sleep now. Those materialist people. Vaishyago tells this example. Whenever he goes to LA temple, I mean not every time, but Once he was going to LA temple, Los Angeles, and he was going for into the temple he was entering, and that time he saw bunch of people coming. So he thought, "Arey, these people are coming." So that time he realized that they are coming actually from Disk. Now they are going back home, and that time these devotees, they are coming from home and entering the temple, right? So for this day for a materialist is night for a spiritualist. What is day for a spiritualist is night for a materialist. That is one way to see. Other way to see is what a spiritualist can see, for them materialist cannot see. Basically, a spiritualist can see Atma, but materialist cannot see that Atma. And spiritualist, for him, he is not seeing the outer world through the senses, doesn't matter to him. But for materialist, he is just seeing that outer world only. Right? So one can understand two ways. Acharya's example gives the example of this also. One who has steady intelligence, he can see the Atma and not the senses, not the sense objects. But one who doesn't have the right intelligence, he is seeing the sense objects and not the Atma. Right? So one can understand intelligence also in this way. Okay. 70th verse. This is also very nice verse. Apuryam. So we discussed, right, how there is every verse is anushtup, 632 syllables. And I said some verses are not like that. This is one such example. There is more than 32 syllables. So the meter will change. Now we are saying with a different meter. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. Yeah. So see, some words you can understand. Samudram. Samudram is ocean, right? Ocean, sea. Okay. Apa is water. Water. Correct. Thanks, Raisa. So we see, right, some of the words, so we can understand what it might mean. Okay. Who wants to read the translation?
A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who tries to satisfy such desires.
Right. So if the ocean is full, do you think that by that river water during rainy season, that river water is coming to the ocean? Oceans, can you say, oh, ocean increased by 10% because of that river? No, ocean is so full, doesn't matter. Even if from there water is coming out or going in, ocean is full, right? So once who is satisfied completely in itself, like that satisfaction is there. So then that incessant desires doesn't harm. Basically, whatever is happening in the outer world is not affecting the inner world, right? The external world is not affecting the inner world, correct? So that is what is mentioned here, the incessant flow of desires. So one might think that, does it mean that one becomes desireless, right? Desireless, that's what is mentioned, right? The incessant flow of desires is not affected. Does it mean that one becomes desireless, right? Desireless means no desire, right? Desireless means no desire. But one might say, oh, but practicing spirituality, serving Krishna, that is also sort of desire, right? There are a lot of organizations that talks about desireless, shunya, nothing is remaining, everything is shunya. You merge with Brahman. There are three levels we discussed. Vadantita tatvedam tadvam yadgyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdate. So three levels are Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So one might say that, oh, you are merging into Brahman, so shunya, everything is stopped, no desires. But Krishna is saying, no, that is not enough. One should have desire to serve Krishna. So when we say incessant flow, there is no desire, so one becomes desireless. How one should understand? So one teacher was telling me, it is same as priceless. When we say diamond is priceless, what it means? Does it mean it has no price? What it means is, it is very, very high price, right? Very high price. So when we say desirelessness, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami explains that a devotee doesn't have desireless, his desirelessness is there. That means that he has no external desires, but all his desires are engaged towards Krishna. Engaged towards Krishna. How can I do? Whatever. So at our level, we might understand, oh, this, it is very difficult to do. But we can see little bit, how we can engage our day in remembering Krishna, by chanting some rounds, by offering to Krishna, something small things, how we can, little bit reading, maybe we can just read for 2 minutes, right? One swipe of Instagram can replace one verse of Bhagavad Gita. Just small things when we do, then we change our life from the incessant flow of desires doesn't affect. desirelessness. Okay, we'll go to 71st verse. Someone can read the translation.
A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace.
We will skip the purport. Basically, Krishna Srila Prabhupada is mentioning whatever we discussed till now. Okay. Now we'll discuss the 72nd verse and we'll read the entire purport. One of the ways, if you want to understand what that chapter is talking about, just read the last verse purport. Srila Prabhupada very nicely summarizes the entire chapter very nicely. So we'll read the entire purport and we'll read the verse and translation as well. And next week, then we'll discuss the third chapter. Esha Brahmi. This Brahmi is not the Brahmi oil. Okay. We'll see. Spiritual. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuyati Sthitvasyam Ante Kalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Okay, who wants to read? See, some of the words you might be able to connect, right? Antakale. Antakale means time of death, right? Antakale. Partha is Krishna. Partha is Arjuna, right? Some of the words we can. Okay, who wants to read the translation?
That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered.
Vimuyati. Vimuya means bewilderment. Go ahead.
If one is thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
Right. What we remember at the time of death. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam tajetante antakale. Basically, he says that what you remember at the time of death, that's what you will attain. Your next destination will be. And what we'll remember at the time of death is the thing that we will be doing throughout our life. Someone can read the purport and we will end there. Who wants to read the purport?
One can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second, or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. But Vanga Maharaj attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna. Nirvana means ending the process of materialistic life. According to Buddhist philosophy, there is only void after the completion of this material life. But Bhagavad Gita teaches differently. Actual life begins after the completion of this material life. For the gross materialist, it is sufficient to know that one has to end this materialistic way of life. But for persons who are spiritually advanced, there is another life after this materialistic life. Before ending this life, if one fortunately becomes Krishna conscious, he at once attains the stage of Brahma Nirvana. There is no difference between the kingdom of God and the devotional service of the Lord. Since both of them are on the absolute plane, to be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is to have attained the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, there are activities of sense gratification, whereas in the spiritual world, there are activities of Krishna consciousness. Attainment of Krishna consciousness even during this life is immediate attainment of Brahman. And one who is situated in Krishna consciousness has certainly already entered into the kingdom of God. Brahman is just the opposite of matter. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti means not on the platform of material activity. Devotional service of the Lord is accepted in the Bhagavad Gita as the liberated state. Sarvanan Samatikyaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti is a liberation from material bondage. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has summarized the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as being the contents for the whole text. In the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matters are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. In the second chapter, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga have been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has also been given as the contents for the complete text.
Right? Param Drishtva Nivartate. No. Oh yeah, Param Drishtva Nivartate. Right? That word says that how one can get higher taste. So already glimpse of Bhakti Yoga is there. So in one sense, Bhagavad Gita is actually over. Second chapter was the main, which was that's why there is contents of Gita summarized. But Arjuna doesn't say, okay, done, okay. Then now he's curious, now he's asking more and more questions. But entire Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, everything is discussed in this second chapter itself. So now it will be elaborated more in the future chapters. We'll stop here. Thank you so much for patiently listening. Now we will quickly sing Prasadam prayers.